Hello my dear friends, a very warm welcome to day 3, and today we are going to cover the queries that are related to subquery topic. So as we have already discussed the subquery part in our beginner challenge as well, but in this pro series we are going to cover subqueries part again, because this will be very useful when we will execute some queries that will based on mixed concepts. So the viewers who are new to this challenge, who haven't taken the previous challenge, which is beginner challenge, for them there is a need to explain this subquery part, and even for those as well who have taken the beginner challenge, for them also it is essential to understand subquery once again, because this time we are going to cover some advanced queries. Okay, so let's quickly start, and firstly let's have a basic understanding about the subquery. So subquery basically means a query inside a query. Okay, a query inside a query. Now the query which is inside a query is called a subquery. Okay, now you will ask, what is the syntax of subquery? So guys, there is no syntax, because subquery is always like a normal query. Like we have to use select, we have to use from, we have to use group by, join, everything that we usually do. Okay, it's just like that. We have to write these set of codes inside a bracket along with the main query. This is it. This is called our subquery. Fine. Okay. Now the question comes that where we can put these brackets of subquery, or where we can basically use the subquery. So we can use it inside select statement, okay, inside where clause, inside from, inside having clause, exist, in. There are various ways, various places where we can use this subquery part. So we will see it in a more clear way when we will execute our queries. Okay. Now I'm going to begin writing our first query, and while solving the query part, we will get to know that how to recognize by looking at the question, by looking at the query, that whether there is a need to use subquery, or we can simply write the code in a simple way. We should be able to recognize where we will basically are going to use this subquery part. Okay, this recognition is very important as a coder, as an analyst. All right, so let's begin with our query number 1. And here, first of all, we have to instruct the SQL that we are using this database, which is online food delivery. I have already used it earlier, but still I'm writing for you people. So we have to simply write use online food delivery. And then let's write our query number 1. And this query is saying to find the customers who placed more orders than the average number of orders per customer. Okay, so what this query is saying, that we need to find the customers who placed, okay, orders, who placed more orders than the average number of orders per customer. Okay, than the average number of order per customer. Okay, so before proceeding, let me firstly create one dummy table, so that firstly you guys understand what this query is saying. If you guys have understood, then it's very good, but I have to explain for some of my viewers. Okay, fine. So basically you can understand, like suppose there is customer ID, okay, and the order count we have. Fine. Suppose in the customer ID we have these customer IDs, okay, and the order count of these customers are 3, 1, 1 and 3. Now what is the average number of orders? Okay, average number of orders. So how can we find the average? We have to simply add them, means 3 plus 1 plus 1 plus 3 will be 8, and divide it with the 4. This will be the average, correct? So the average order count is 2. This is what it is written here, average number of orders per customer. So this is average number of orders. Now we have to find the customers who placed more than this average number. So who are those customers who have placed the order which is more than the average count? So they are customer number 101 and customer 104, correct? So in the output section, we will have these two customers, 101 and 104. This will be our result output window. Correct, guys? So we have at this time, what we did, we have simply understand what this query is about. Okay. Now we will proceed in our style. What is our style? So our first step is to get the sample output table. You remember, we are doing it from past 2 days. We have to get a sample output table. how this table looks like. So there should be customer ID, okay, and the customer name. This is it. This should be our final result, and these customers are those customers who have placed more than the this average count, correct? Okay, now what is our second step? So our second step is to choose the columns. So here we need to choose simply customer ID, okay. What else? Customer name we need to choose, okay. What else? So you can clearly see that in the output section there is nothing else, okay. Okay, fine, we are not writing anything. And what is the next step here after selecting? After selecting, we have to simply write the table name. So from which table? From customers table. This is it, okay. So by using this query, this code, the output that we will get will be what? What will be the output if we simply write select customer ID, customer name from customers table? We will get the whole list of customers. Whether they have placed order or not doesn't matter. They have placed more than the average number of order or not doesn't matter. We will simply get the whole customer list. But this is not our need. We don't want this. So what now? Okay. So for that there is a need of third step, and in this third step we will put the where clause, and in this where clause we will simply have to write where customer ID in, and we will give the list. What this list is about? So the list is those whose order count is greater than the average count. When we write it like this, then we can get the list of those customers only who have placed the orders more than the average order count. Okay, fine. Now the question comes, how to get this list? Okay, how to get this list? This is the question, and we can solve this problem by using a subquery. Means a fresh set of codes we have to write, and after writing those codes we have to simply put it here inside this bracket. Alright, so let's watch it carefully, guys. Firstly, let me write the code till here, okay, till customer ID in. Alright, so let's write select customer ID, comma customer name from customers table, okay, where customer ID in, and here we will provide the list, okay. So I hope you have got the idea what list I'm talking about. Basically in this list we are going to mention those customers who have simply placed the orders more than the average number of orders. Fine, okay. So how to find it? For that we have to write select customer ID. You can basically consider it as a second question. It is a question inside this question. So you can even start it by solving this thing firstly to get this list firstly. Okay, fine. So we firstly have to write select customer ID. Then it is from orders table because we need to count the orders. So it is an orders table. Then we have to use group by. Okay, group by what? Group by customer ID. Okay, then we have to use the more filtration. So after grouping by, if there is a need to filter further, we have to use the having clause, and where having count of order ID is greater than the average of order count. Something we have to write it like this, guys, or not? Tell me. Correct? Fine. But now again one question come that, okay, fine, now is it correct way to write it like this by simply writing the average of order count? Will we get our answer? No, we cannot get. For that we need to solve this, and to solving this we have to write one more set of codes, okay. And this set of code, now firstly let me delete it. To get the average of order count we have to write select, okay, average of order count. Now I'm going to define this order count. So from select customer ID, comma count of order ID as order count. Till here I have defined this order count, okay, the order count whose average we are calculating. So we have to define this order count. So I have defined it here like this. So from, we are basically going to create a table, okay, a temporary table. So in this table we have to write from select the customer ID and the count of the order ID as order count, and this is available in which table? So it is available in orders table, and there is a need of group by. group by customer ID. Okay, fine. And then close this query. After that, we have to give this one alias name, which is customers order. This is it, guys. Now we have to simply use the colon. So here you can see how many subqueries we have used. We have used 1, 2 and 3. Query inside queries, codes inside codes. It is called nested queries as well. Okay, so let me now run it, and we have our answer. We have the list of those customers whose order count is greater than the average order count. So let me explain it one more time. So firstly, we have selected the customer ID and customer name because this is what we want in our output window. Then we have simply written the name of the table. Then we have put one condition where customer ID in, and in this in we are providing a list of those customers who have placed the orders greater than the average order. To get this list, we have to use this query. Okay, and in this query again, this is a normal query, so we have to treat it like a normal query. In normal query, what we usually do, we usually select the things, we usually give the name of the table. So we are selecting here customer ID, order, and then we after filtration using the having, we have to give the condition, and this condition is not something we can write directly. Okay, so for that we have to use one more code, and this is the one more subquery that we have used. I hope it is clear, guys. Fine. So I am now moving towards our next query, and this is query number 2. It might seem little difficult, but trust me, guys, if you will solve the same thing 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, and you will understand it on your own, you will simply take a pen and paper, and you are do the operation of this simple query, because this query is not a basic query, it is advanced level query. So there are multiple queries inside this question. Okay, there are multiple queries inside this question, so you have to simply take your paper and pen, and you have to solve these multiple questions on your own and treat them as a basic query, and then simply you have to put these basic queries inside this main query. This is it, and this all will come after so much of practice. It is very easy, but the pro tip is here is the practice. You need to do practice. And one more thing, guys, I have observed that you guys are becoming smarter and smarter. So many of learners are directly using ChatGPT for solving these things. Okay, it's fine to use the AI along with the techniques, but the core, the concept part must be clear. Okay, you have to be clear with your basics, else in the real scenario, when you are working with the real data in a pressured environment, then trust me, you will be failed there. Because when you will enter in your office where the real scenario you will have to face there, inside the meeting room, you cannot quickly search it in a ChatGPT and you will give the answers, you will do the analysis, you will suggest the solutions. This is not a way. You should be very clear with your basics, very clear. You take help of ChatGPT, but very wisely. Okay. Now let's move with our query number 2, and this query is saying to show me the customers who never ordered from a restaurant located in their city. Now this is very interesting question, guys, that they want the list of customers who have never ordered from their city's restaurant. Then from which city they are placing the orders and what they are doing in that city. So there are many cases like maybe they have to travel often, maybe they are placing the orders for someone else. So they want the list of those customers. Okay, so what will be our step 1? In the step 1, we will have to get the idea of the output window. Okay, now read the query. It is saying show me the customers. Fine, it means they want the customer ID and the customer name who never ordered from a restaurant located in their city. So they want the city as well. This will be our output window, something like this. Okay, this will be something output window will look like. Okay, and these customers will be those customers who have never placed any order from their city. Correct, this is only we want. Fine. So in the next step, we need to identify the column names directly given, that it is customer ID, name and the city. Fine. From which table? So from the table, we will provide the details of the table. Now we have to use the filtration. Okay, so here we have to write where not in, and here we have to provide something, and in this something we simply have to create a list who have ordered from the same city. Okay, in this list we will create the list who have ordered from the same city. So by this we can get our desired result. Fine guys. Okay, so to get that list who have ordered from their city, what we need to write? So we have to simply write the select one. Okay, and the rest of the codes. Now what is the select one? What will be the rest of codes? These we will see in the MySQL workbench directly. Now let me write the code. So we have to select customer ID, comma, customer name, okay, and we can select city as well. From which table? From customers table. Okay, now where not in, now we have to provide the list, and in this list there will be those customers who have placed the order from their own city. Correct. So how to get this list? So for this list we have to simply write select one from orders table O, and join this with the restaurant table R. On what basis? Where orders table restaurant ID is equal to the restaurants table restaurant ID. Okay, where orders table customer ID is equals to the customers table customer ID. Okay, and one more condition, that restaurants table city is equal to the customers table city. Is it clear? Is this clear guys? See, so here we have simply given a list. Okay, and in this list we have written select one. Fine. Now select one means what? It is basically used to check the presence. Okay, nothing else. It doesn't fetch the whole data. It simply go and check the presence. If the required data is present, it will say true, and the output we will get. So that's why we will use select one here. One means okay, true, it is present here. Correct. Fine. We can also write star, select star, but in select star what happened? It fetch the whole data. It will fetch the whole data, and it will be very heavy for the engine. So there is no need to fetch the whole data. No need to fetch the whole data. There is only need to simply check it. Check this condition. Okay. Now what this condition is saying? So it is saying that where orders table customer ID is equal to the customers table customer ID. Correct. And restaurants table city. Okay, the city which is mentioned in the restaurant table is equal to the city which is mentioned in the customer table. So by writing this, can't we get the list of those customers who have placed the orders from their own city? Aren't we? Okay, fine, we can get it. Now there is one problem. What is the problem? That we cannot write not in here. We cannot write not in here. We have to use the not exist. Okay, this is a new thing I'm telling today, that we have to use the not exist. Now question comes when to use not exist. Let me write firstly. Now the question comes when to use this not exist. So when there is need to check the criteria row by row. It means customer ID. In this customer ID, one customer ID will enter. Then this one customer ID will go here. Okay, and it will fetch the result, whatever be the result. If it is true, then it will be in our output section. If it is not true, then nothing will happen. Now the customer ID 2 will come. Now this customer ID 2 will enter here. So it is running row by row. It is working row by row. When there is a scenario of execution row wise, in such cases we cannot use not exist. We cannot use not in, because we are not basically providing any list here. We are simply checking something. Correct? Okay. Now let's put the semicolon. Okay, here it is not exists. Now let's run it and see what the result is saying. Fine, we have our result. So this is the list. These are the customers who have never ordered from their own location. Is it clear, guys? Please do let me know in the comment section or in the feedback form. Please let me know if it is easy for you to absorb the concept or it is very difficult. I don't think it is difficult, because now you are at the pro stage. But the thing is that you have to do the operation on your own. Okay, just try to do all these queries, these demo queries, on your own. Just hide the screen, don't see the codes I have given here. After first understanding, try to do it on your own and see where you are stuck in. See, okay, and catch your points, get the concept clear, and if any problem, then I'm here to help you out. So now let's move to our query number 3, and this is saying for each city, list restaurant with the highest total revenue. Now, what is the need? So first of all, what we have to do, we have to get the sample output table, how this table will look like. Okay, just read the query. It is saying for each city, list restaurant with highest total revenue. So for each city, it means we need one city column, and the list restaurant means we need the restaurant related data. It can be restaurant ID and restaurant name. Okay, this is it, with the highest total revenue city in their particular city. Okay, this is only thing that we want in our output window. But the thing of which we have to take care is these restaurants will be those restaurants whose revenue is the highest in their city. Whose revenues is the highest in their city. Fine. Now the second step is to select the columns. So there is a need to select city, restaurant ID and the restaurant name. Then the from, table name. Now where? Okay, where restaurant ID is generating highest revenue, where restaurant IDs, those restaurant IDs only who are generating highest revenue in their city. So how to solve this thing? So for that, we need to simply use subquery, and there will be multiple subqueries. So let's execute it and write the code. Okay, so firstly write select, and we have to select the restaurant name. So it is in restaurant table. So r dot restaurant name, comma, r dot city from restaurants table, r where restaurant ID, okay, comma, restaurant city in a list. Okay, and this list is about what? This list is, we by using this list we are finding the highest revenue of the restaurant in each city. So for that, we need to select the restaurant ID again, and here I am using the different alias name. So here I am using R2. Okay, R2 restaurant ID, comma, R2 city. When we use the queries inside the queries, then it is good to use different aliases names for the same table. It will be easy to fetch the details. Okay, fine. From restaurant table, and I'm defining it with the R2 this time. Now there will be a need to join it with the orders table. Okay, on what basis? So on where R2's restaurant ID is equal to the orders table restaurant ID, and we need to join it with the order details, because there is a need to calculate the revenue. Okay, in the revenue we need these all tables. Join order details OD, on what basis? So where order tables order ID is equal to the order details table order ID. Correct? And we need to join it with the menu item also, because prices are given in the menu item. So M on what basis? On where order details table item ID is equal to the menus table item ID. Now we need to use the group by. Group by what? Group by city. So R2 dot city as well as R2 dot restaurant ID. Fine. But still we haven't selected the maximum restaurant. Okay, maximum revenue generating restaurant. Now for that, there is a need to filter again. And how can we filter after using the group by? We have to use the having sum of price multiplied with the quantity is equal to the maximum revenue in that city, is equal to the maximum revenue in that particular city. Correct? I hope this thing is clear till here, guys. Okay, what we did till here, we simply have selected the restaurant name, city from the restaurants, and then we have put the condition where select only those restaurant ID and those restaurant cities who are giving the highest total revenue. So highest total revenue, for that we need to write this whole query, and at last we have used this filtration where we have written having. Okay, having this revenue is equal to the maximum of revenue generated in that particular city. Now we have one more task, and in that task we need to find the solution for this thing. And how can we find it? So here we have to write one more query. Simple, we have to write one more set of codes, and we simply have to write select maximum of total revenue. Okay, now what is this total revenue? Okay, let's define this total revenue. So from the table where we are selecting city, now in this particular subquery I am defining the restaurant with the R3. Okay, fine, city as city name. Okay, now R3 dot restaurant ID comma sum of revenue. Simple, and for that we have our formula, which is price multiplied with the quantity as total revenue. Okay, so here we have written this total revenue, right? This total revenue, we have defined it here like this. Correct? Okay, now we have to do the basic formality, which is to write the name of the table, to write the join, to use the group if it is needed, and this is it. So from restaurant table, and this is R3, join it with the orders table O. On what basis? Where restaurant ID is equal to the orders table restaurant ID, join it with the order details table. Okay, OD on what basis? So on orders table order ID is equal to the order details table order ID, and again join it with the menu item on order details table item ID is equal to the menus table item ID. Now we have to use the group by, because we want the result city wise and the restaurant ID wise. So R3 dot city comma R3 dot restaurant ID. Okay, and let's give it one alias name as city revenue. Where city revenue dot city name is equal to the R2 dot city. We are checking row by row here. This is it, guys. Okay, now here it is one mistake. It will be restaurant. Here we have to write the okay, and okay, now let's run it, guys. So select the whole thing and let's run it. OD dot order ID is not here. Okay, here OD dot order ID. Now let's run it again. Okay, so this is our result. So these are the restaurants who have the highest revenue in their particular city. So in the Pune city, this Fresh Hub restaurants generates the highest revenue among all the restaurants. Okay guys, so you might be thinking that how difficult it is, how critical it is, but you can trust me on this, that after doing practice, this is not at all difficult. It is so easy for you to execute. It will be so easy for you to understand. The only thing is that you have to understand the concept clearly without depending yourself completely on the AI tools. You firstly have to understand the concept. Once you understood the concept, then it is super easy for you to write these long queries on your own. So this is it guys. See you tomorrow with the new concept and the tasks list. You will get it in your PDF. So guys, take care, keep practicing, and bye bye. See you.